Hello and welcome to the More Cheese Less Whiskers podcast. My name is Dean Jackson, and for the next 3 podcasts, we've got a very special treat. I'm going to share with you a podcast series that Joe Polish and I did on the I Love Marketing podcast, talking about a concept that we surfaced first in episode 12 of the I Love Marketing podcast, which, now we have 360 episodes of that podcast. So that goes back a while. And the reason it's so relevant right now is because Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy have just released their new book called Who, Not How. And this concept of the self-milking cow was the genesis of that thinking. And I thought it'd be a really great time to get that out to kind of surface the below the behind the scenes kind of things that lead to how things evolve and become big concepts. So I think you will enjoy this 3-part series. This is part 1, and I will, over the next 2 weeks, put up series episode 2 and 3 for you. And what I'd recommend is that you listen to all of these, but more importantly, go get a copy of Who, Not How. It's out everywhere right now, and it truly is a revolutionary book that will make a big difference in your life. You've heard me talk a lot about this idea of being the cow and not succumbing to the temptation to be the self-milking cow trying to do it all. Well, this is the framework of the philosophy that gets you there. So nice perspective building for you over the next few weeks. And this is a good time of year to be really contemplating going into 2021 right around the corner with a real who, not how plan to multiply your efforts in the coming years. Okay, so there we go.
Hey everybody, it's Dean Jackson. No, I'm kidding. It's someone far better looking than Dean, Joe Polish. I didn't mean to say that, Dean. That's mean. I just wanted to start this episode right from the very beginning with dissing you, because that's sort of what, this podcast.
Get it out of the way, because then we got serious business.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying it's not coming back. I mean, there's going to be U-turns throughout.
Okay. I thought you were just trying to make sure you got it.
No, here's what I want to share before we get into what we're going to talk about today. There's a lady by the name of Tara McHugh, and she posted on Facebook, "Thanks, Joe, for interviewing Dr. Hyman on the Blood Sugar Solution Cookbook," which is one of our bonus episodes on I Love Marketing. That if you've not heard it, you must go to the website and listen to it now, because it's very good. And so she posted, and that she ordered the book, and I wrote, "Awesome, it's a great book." She wrote, she posted back, "Oh, and Joe, I just sent out a 9-word email yesterday and have gotten an awesome response. Thanks again for all you do. Please let me know if there's ever any way that I or we might be able to help you. Tara McHugh, founder, Association of Women Entrepreneurs." And so now there are hundreds of posts like this all over Facebook and emails we get and all kinds of stuff all the time. And first off, that's very nice. So thank you, Tara, for posting that. And the thing I want to point out is the 9-word email. And, you actually, that's your thing, Dean. You created it. If anything, I just help you, get it out to the world because you're too lazy to do it yourself. And so, I'm kidding, of course. But real quickly, we've done several episodes on the 9-word email. We've got a couple of I Love Marketing books. We have, we've talked about it at our conferences. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And it's one of those things
soon to be ad in Success Magazine coming out next month.
Exactly. Yeah. The next issue of Success Magazine, you should check that out. You will see it. It's going to be pretty fancy. So, talk about
that 9-word email is just one of the things that is like a magic trick that you can pull off in any business. You go in, and if they've been in business for more than 90 days and they've talked to anybody about buying their service or buying their product and they haven't bought yet, that email is a valuable asset that they could send to anyone. And I mean, really just the simplicity of it. Are you still looking for whatever? Are you still looking for a house in Georgetown? That was the original message that got just such an incredible response. And, we talk about different examples of that where we had some guys that came to the I Love Marketing conference that sent out a 9-word email to some yacht buying prospects and found a $100 million yacht buyer. Just again and again, it's one of those things that is so easy to do and such high probability of success, And so everybody should do that, should just go to ilovemarketing.com, look up the episode with the 9-word email, just search for it in the on the upper right-hand corner and send it out. I mean, we put up a post a couple of weeks ago just asking for people to tell the stories of having sent out the 9-word email. And it's so great to see the different situations that it's worked for. I mean, people sending out, are you still interested in losing weight? Or are you still interested in a website? Or are you still Kathleen Bacrossi from Canada sending out to her dental hygienists, are you being audited this year? And getting a huge response from that. All those things are just very simple, easy to pull off things that have such a high success rate. Anybody should do it. In the time that we've been talking about it right now, they could have done it and gotten response.
Yeah, I kind of went on a little tangent in the last episode when I was talking about my meeting I had with John Mackey, the founder of Whole Foods, and about pricing and stuff. And his philosophy on price is charging for something. Immediately it establishes a value, and people know what it is. And if you just offer stuff for free, you will attract a lot of parasites if you have something really valuable. And not that you want to attract great people, because like I said, we do our I Love Marketing podcast, and one of the most valuable things me and you have done has been offer things for free in order to start a conversation and create value first before you ever ask people to give you money, that sort of thing. I mean, it's one of the premises behind education-based marketing. And saying that, though, I also made that statement, if people don't pay, they don't pay attention. And people constantly, here's like a funny sort of thing that has happened to me and probably you 10,000 times, where you tell people, I have an I Love Marketing, podcast, or I have courses on marketing, or we do events on marketing. I could really use your help. Now that's a completely different statement that I could really use your help, so I'm going to listen to your podcast. I could really use your help, so I'm going to attend your event. It's kind of like, I could really use your help, and it's like, can you just do this for me and run my life for me and take it on and all that sort of stuff. And the thing that is really interesting about the 9-word email, if we charged people $10,000 to listen to the episode on the magic 9-word email, or several, or to read about it in what we've written, that would be a bargain of their lifetime when it came to just effectively doing email marketing from this point forward. I mean, would you disagree with that?
I would not. I mean, you look at it, just how many people have used that and generated thousands of dollars. I mean, I did that event with Frank Kern. We did the Breakthrough Blueprint event together in La Jolla. And just as a demonstration, I had Frank send out the message the morning that we started the event. And by the end of the day, he had made $14,000.
Remember the dude at our event that did it in the evening and
right.
In the morning he had 100,000 in sales, overnight?
Yes. I know. It's not, yeah. I mean, you're so right. It's almost like one of those things that the way I look at that, and I know different people have different approaches where they say, well, people don't appreciate things if they don't pay for them, or, you set up this context of taking rather than, that you train them to not pay you money and all that kind of stuff. And I don't believe that for a second. I think that the people who are not going to pay you money are not people who were never going to pay you money in the first place. But you get a lot more people who you've led with the giving hand. I mean, you've led by, you look at anything, any of the episodes that we have on there, and if you were to go through, it would be impossible for you to listen to the episodes of I Love Marketing and not apply something and make thousands of dollars. There's no, no charge for that. Anybody who applied stuff, and we have people all the time who've done that. And we run into people. I met a guy at 25K just in August, who said exactly that. He said he joined 25K, came to this event because he'd been listening to our podcasts, had been making a lot of money using the stuff, and specifically using the 9-word email, and felt compelled to join because it's just so much value, But you start with leading. Anytime you're in a business that the result of people doing business with you is that they make more money, one of the very best things you can do is start the relationship off with you go first, help them make some money, and then they're more than happy to invest some of that money back with you,
Right. Well, here's the thing too. Like when I'm going on these sort of tangents, or I'm asking these questions, or I'm making these statements, I'm thinking it through and figuring it out in my head also, because I always have operated with, I don't ask anyone to do anything for me without creating value first, and that includes buying anything for me. I've always, I was never effective in the marketing of my business when I just put out, I have great stuff and you should buy it. It always came from education. It always came from first clarifying even how to make a decision, starting with, a consumer awareness guides for carpet cleaning with a free room offer. I mean, I've always given stuff. What the reason I'm making a big deal about it is what I've noticed, like I talked about on the last episode, is that a lot of people think if they are just really nice and really great and have good stuff and they give it away for free, that somehow translates into people giving them money. And it doesn't. You simply there needs to be a point in time where you ask for the sale, where you make it like, where, you can give people, like the magic 9-word email. The reason I said, if people paid $10,000 for that, Dean, don't you agree that would be valuable? Well, some people could say, you're just trying to use that to, exaggerate the value of a stupid 9-word email and anyone could, kind of get it and blah, blah, blah. I'm saying that because, for one, I believe that's absolutely true. I mean, you take
I know. Yeah, I believe it too.
So I believe it's true. But the other reason is I want to drill down just how important that is in case someone has not yet implemented it. Because when we have clients, and there are many that people can go and read comments that have posted and have made thousands of dollars using the magic 9-word email. And if there's anyone listening to this that has not done it, either one, they don't know what it is. So go back to the episodes and kind of learn the formula. It's not very complicated. You'll get it pretty immediately. And the second is, once you get it in your mind, you have to actually write one, and you actually have to go out and send it and put it out there. And so I don't want people, confusing, giving something away for free in the before unit is these are all pieced together. The chain is only as strong as the weakest link. And we see a lot of marketing that's almost there. I mean, they're almost ready to close the loop, but until they actually close the loop, they're not going to get the reward. It's like our friend Ken Glickman says, you don't get the proverbial cigar in life until you get it right and never before. It doesn't matter how nice you are. It doesn't matter how kind you are. You simply need to get it to that point. And the last thing I'll say on that, like the things that I actually do make money off of, like my 25K group as an example, Genius Network, that whole group started simply because I gave away so much value, helped connect so many people in the beginning, friends that I would call up and ask for advice, when I finally decided I'm going to facilitate this really high level group, and Robin Robbins was the one that originally gave me the suggestion, why don't you run a platinum group for information marketers? That was the first conversation after she had hired me for, 2 hours, for $6,000. That's when I was like $3,000 an hour at the time. And I said, well, like anything else, you got to market it. You got to put it together, but if I did, what would you charge? And she's like, well, I just, spent 2 hours on the phone with you and got immense value out of that. I'd easily, pay $25,000. And I said to her, so what you're saying is you'd pay $25,000 if I did a group, for this. She's like, yeah. And I would refer other people to it. So I thought about it for about a month, and I called her, and she, FedExed me a check. And I'd also talked to several other people, but these were people that I talked to that were friends. I would usually call them up and say, hey, I need some advice here. I was asking them for advice. Now I'm asking them to give me money. Well, I got them to join a very high level expensive group, if you want to consider, say, expensive, although that's relative. I got them to join a group because of all of the free stuff I had done just in the relationship of being, helpful to them that even, I didn't use
equity in that relationship.
Exactly. And so that's where I want to bring this to in the point that it may sound belaboring. It may sound like, I'm beating a dead horse. I just see it too much to, like our friend JR says, for those that get it, no explanation is needed. For those that don't, no explanation will do. Well, there's two types of people in the world, based on my experience with that. People that get it and people that they just can't. But there's many that are close to getting it. And the more that they learn and understand the marketing, the more, that actually makes sense. When you really get the 9-word email, you know what you're going to do? You're going to change everything about how you communicate via email. You're going to change the amount of conversions you do. You're going to change your income level. You can become rich with the right 9-word email.
I can tell a lot about people by what they do when they hear about the 9-word email. I can tell a lot about people who, it's a lot of people intellectually, they get the idea, they get it, but then they don't ever do anything about it. And some people, they get it and they just go and do it, and they come back and then they're like completely stoked. They want to, well, what do we do now?
Right.
And you could just tell it's sometimes that's, people get it on a deep level and they integrate it in and they are constantly moving forward,
Yeah. And do you think there needs to be a certain level of intelligence in order for someone to get this? Or have when you encounter people that don't easily grasp persuasion, don't easily grasp marketing, or worse,
right.
There's a large segment of people that, we were talking about this earlier. There's this very funny, clip on YouTube from Bill Hicks about how he hates marketers. They're evil, they're Satan. Right. And his whole thing is like, and it's not a joke. He goes, everyone's waiting for the punchline. I hate them. You're Satan's spawn. And of course, this is a person that in the context of comedy, anything goes. You can say whatever the hell you want. And I'm the last person to say that, freedom of speech sort of thing. The thing that's most interesting about it is this person actually really believes, marketers and advertising people are evil, while they simultaneously benefit from marketing and advertising without even being aware of it. So it's not just some people that don't get it. Some people
sitting
don't get it.
in front of a room full of people who were brought to those seats through advertising and marketing.
Right, exactly. So now it's a comedy show, and so that's fine. The thing though is there are some people that don't get it, and because they don't get it, they hate the people that do. They hate the subject matter itself, and they actually start to condone it, and they don't even get what it is they're condoning. It's like someone that, is eating food while simultaneously, I hate food, that sort of thing. And so what does, have you ever been able to flip the switch on people that were heavily resistant to marketing in the very beginning, or have you just lived your life out saying,
I don't even try anymore. I don't try anymore because there are so many people and we've got such limited time, both of us. You're in exactly the same situation that I don't care to try and persuade somebody out of stupidity.
Gotcha.
There's just so many people who get it and want and need help that I don't even have time to help the ones who really want it. I'm not going to beat my head against the wall trying to talk sense into somebody who doesn't. It's like I know I'm being successful when, number 6, there are no whiny people in my life.
Right,
I don't have time for that.
I love it. That's a reminder too. How long ago did we do the I'm Being Successful When episode?
Oh, I don't know. It was one of the early ones, I'm sure. But I did that in 1999. Yeah.
So we did an episode very early on.
That's how long I've been doing that. Yeah.
No, it's great. No, when you taught that to me, that was fantastic. So, and that was one of our early on episodes that people, that was a couple of years ago, where people were like, "Oh, that was so good. I've really thought through about what's important to me in my life." So that's just a reminder to kind of search back and go check it out. All right, let's talk about milking cows.
Well, and I kind of teased you before the call, but I tell you, we haven't really been able to connect much over the summer here because we've both been just traveling so much, and we saw each other in New York. But
my life has not gotten worse as a result of that. I just want to show you that.
You don't miss me at all.
It depends in what context.
I see. Yeah. That's so funny.
No, of course, Dean. My life would be completely incomplete. It would be completely incomplete. All right, without being able to hang out, interact. Occasional bubble bath. That sort of stuff. Not together, but just bubble bath.
That's what I miss, the bubble baths.
Yeah, I have a big frame picture of you in the largest living areas of my home. So
I love it. Yeah.
When you're not there, you're sort of kind of looking over.
like the Kramer picture on Seinfeld, the big portrait of me.
Well, you know my whole story with Seinfeld. I mean, like most people don't believe it. I've watched one episode of Seinfeld in my entire life.
Oh wow,
a complete one.
Which episode did you watch?
The very last one. And then people told me that wasn't even that great. The final one.
That wasn't. Well, you had to watch all of them for that one to make sense.
I was in Costco not too long ago, and there was I don't know, all of them, I think. I mean, it was this giant box, and I nearly bought it. I mean, I picked it up, I put it in the cart. I when I get really overwhelmed, I like going to Costco because for some reason, I mean, I think I've even dragged you on shopping expeditions with me. It's
I love it too.
It's a therapeutic disconnect for me. I mean, for some reason, but you can never walk in Costco and not spend less than $4 million.
No, but it's so interesting to go in with your goggles on, to see what really is what the mass society is doing,
Oh yeah.
It was Eben Pagan and I went into Walmart one day, and we had. Because I was telling him that I had just read that 25% of all the jewelry sold in the United States is sold at Walmart. And we thought, well, we got to go check out what that's all about. How does that happen? And so we go in there, and it was really interesting because they have the jewelry counter, and they had a bunch of rings, and they were all around this sign that said your left hand is for expressions of love, and your right hand is for self-expression, right? And this was all then surrounded by the right hand ring collection. And I thought, that is just that's almost unfair. That you can imagine the scene. These women are coming in to Walmart, looking at the jewelry longingly, thinking, oh, I wish my boyfriend or my husband would buy me some jewelry. And almost like this sign saying to them, well, that's true for your left hand, but your right hand is for self-expression. You go on ahead and buy yourself that ring.
Right.
It's just making it okay to buy jewelry yourself, I just thought that is so empower. It's almost like I think it's up there with the would you like fries with that and lather, rinse, repeat. I think the right hand ring collection is probably the amazing right hand ring collection, the amazing 5-word sign that created 25% of all the jewelry sales in the United States.
Yeah, and the fact that you even notice it and think about it that much says a lot.
It really does.
No. Well, and
that's
see
what
that
I do.
What the hell? What started all that? It was me talking about Seinfeld and Costco.
Costco, yeah.
No, but
you never know where this is. This is like a big adventure. You just got to strap on and go for the ride because this isn't. We're 23 minutes in, and this is I want to tell you about this whole amazing confluence of events that has led me to perhaps one of the most profound insights I've had in many, many years.
Okay.
How's that for an opening?
That's good. I think you should. You should share this insight like next on the next episode. We should make this like. You ever watch The Walking Dead? You know, the zombie show.
There's a show that I've seen half of one episode.
Okay. Yeah. Well. So, I never bought the Seinfeld DVDs because I was like, I'm just not going to make this time investment. But The Walking Dead is one of those shows that it's gruesome and it's well acted and it's taken off and all that sort of stuff. You watch one of them, there's always a cliffhanger. I mean, you're just screwed. I mean, it just leaves you completely in a state of suspension and anticipation and, why the hell am I watching this? That sort of stuff. But I think we should do that more frequently when there's these great insights that are going to be shared and just because it pisses people off too.
3 episodes from now.
Yeah. So go ahead. What's this incredible insight? Well,
so here's how it all started. I've been, thinking about this whole process of creating these Create Space books. We've been using, I've been using several of them. We've got some with the Breakthrough DNA book. We've got the Magic Rapport Formula book, which we're all getting ready to have those available on I Love Marketing. And realizing that basically taking a 1-hour podcast episode, like the ones that we did. My favorite, is the one like the Magic Rapport Formula, where we interviewed you, talked all about your, the process, the step-by-step process that Fabienne helped you to outline and sort of articulate. And it's a great, 50 or 60 page book that comes as a result of a 1-hour podcast just like this. And I've gone through the whole process. I've got my team. I've got a transcriptionist, and I've got Glenn, the designer, who we've got a format for all of this. And with Elizabeth, we then put it up on Create Space. I'm all set up as a Create Space publisher, all these things. So the process really of creating one of these books now is I've got down to about, I'd say a 90-minute process of my involvement. If you take 30 minutes thinking it through, outlining what we're going to talk about, then recording the podcast and then sending it off to Glenn to take care of the rest of it. I've been doing these books with my guys in my mastermind group. We've done, a lot of these lead generation books, like as in For Profit Activator 2, because one of the insights that I had was that in order to have a successful Profit Activator 2 lead generating book, if you're going to use a book as a magnet to attract people as a direct response offer, there's really only 2 things that you need. Number one, you have to have a book, meaning you have to physically have something to offer them. And you have to have a title that upon hearing it the person that you want to be in conversation with says, I want that book, or I need that book, So when you look at those things, it's like we've got so many of these great titles that have come out of it. We've got some of my favorite is one guy came to the London Breakthrough Blueprint. He came up with a title of Hypnotize Your Husband. And we came up with another guy had a book called The Skinny Jeans Solution. I was just in Australia, and one of the fitness guys came up with 90-day six-pack, which when you start thinking about these things, if you're listening to those, you know exactly what they are. You know that you want that. And it doesn't matter whether the book is 50 pages or 250 pages. It's just as a magnet. So I've been encouraging people to and helping them set up these books when they come to the events and get it. What I realized was that they get into this technical seizure where they don't know what to do. They get blocked completely by the process of this. Like I was just explaining to them how I do it, how it all works. And they, were getting blocked by how do we set up this? What's the format that we use? Where do we go to create space to do this? How do we set all these things up? They've got the content for the book. They don't have a problem, with having enough information to write the book. They've got a great title for the book, but what they run into is this challenge of they don't know how to get it out into the world. And so, like I said, I was helping some of the people in the mastermind group. I did one with Sean Phillips, and we go through a 90-minute process where it's literally just outlining the book and then talking for an hour, recording like a podcast type of thing, and getting that transcribed and turned into a book. And I realized when I got back from London, I was in South Carolina right after that on a little golf trip, and I was still on London time. And so I woke up at like 4:00 in the morning, and I was kind of in a little melatonin coma, and that little twilight space there. And I was thinking about this kind of process of just, if I could just get the entrepreneurs to, commit to sitting down for 30 minutes with somebody to outline and get all of their content and thoughts together, and then schedule a time just to get them to schedule 60 minutes to record it, then everything else could be done from there. They wouldn't have to do any of the technical things, right? And in my mind, I kind of this word came to my mind. It was mind milking. Right, it's just like literally the entrepreneur just has to come into the phone and let's milk their mind. And then that immediately led me to this visualization of a cow, coming in to get milked. And that led me immediately to the thought of cash cows, because that's really what entrepreneurs are, info creators, people who are.
By the way, let me just stop and just mention some, and then you can continue on. That I'm just letting you kind of roll with this twist in this. Just
yeah. Well, it's all going to make
your
sense.
mind conjures up and things with cows and something milking. I mean, that's all good. Just keep going. I get it.
Okay. And so I came to that idea that the problem is that, all these entrepreneurs are walking around with all this mind milk. They don't have any outlet for it. They've got all of this stuff, but they're trying to be these self-milking cows, and they realize that it's hard to milk themselves with their hooves. They need someone with opposable thumbs to actually help get the information out and to process it and take it to market. And I started realizing that every cow needs a farmer, and needs multiple farmers. And Eben Pagan and I were just laughing about this because I was sharing this idea with him, and we were talking like in the real world, a farmer needs like 100 cows to have a viable operation, but in the cash cow world, literally one cow can, feed 100 farmers. You need 100 farmers to deal with all the potential milk from one cow, if you, and just so I'll spell it all out for you, Joe, we're talking about metaphorical milk here. We're talking about milk being content and ideas and information, And
well, thank you. You just liberated me from, thinking, yeah, that's awesome.
And then I started thinking that I had brunch with Dan Sullivan and was sharing this concept with him, and he just he got it on such a deep level. But Dan is the ultimate cow. When you think about this, it's almost exactly the prototype of what I'm talking about. Dan is one cow with 100 farmers and a $25 million company,
Right.
Based on the milk of one cow. Martha Stewart is probably like the biggest cow that you can think of, with 680 farmers all, spreading the milk of Martha Stewart, and through all of those things, her intellectual capital, And so when you really think about it, the idea that I got from that is this whole idea of really thinking about that there are kind of two types of people. There are cows and there are farmers. And if you really think about it, you have to have the acuity to know which you are. If you're, and not that one is better than the other. It's like ideas and execution, right? It's that whole thing of, an idea. There's lots of cows that are roaming the plains with swollen udders and no outlet for their milk, because they can't milk themselves. And there are lots of farmers, people who are really good at execution, at just getting stuff done, but they're not, they need cows,
So would you look at different projects as different cows, like different?
I would look at different people. I look at, here's the way that I'm really thinking about this, because this has really changed the things. I emailed Seth Godin about this idea because we were laughing about this concept of, how he does these the books, like free prize inside and sells them as souvenir type of things.
Right.
And I was saying how this has really led to a whole way of thinking that I look at myself as a cow, and I look at that the highest use thing that I can be doing is creating milk, right? Creating ideas, creating concepts, creating ads or copy or all of the things that are like ideas. I'm an idea guy, it's not my best use to be technically doing anything, And so I look at it that setting up your team in a way, that's really what it is setting up your team, setting up your processes so that you're able to get your milk from you out into the world and doing it in the easiest way, because there's a lot that goes into it. Let's look at our podcast as an example. Okay. So in this case, you and I are the cows of this podcast. We are out in the field. We're out grazing in the pastures. We're observing things. We're talking to people. We're involved in whatever we do. We come up with these ideas. We've got all kinds of insights and things to share. We come to the telephone here and we get milked. We talk about this idea, we get the milk out into the audio there, but from there, we don't do anything else with it. I mean, from there, we send one email to, you send your half of the file and I send my half of the file to Glenn, and everything takes care of itself from there. We're not the ones editing the audio and posting it up and sending it to iTunes and doing all that stuff. That's our farm that's doing that. Our farmers are doing that, right? And without the farmers, it would be so much more difficult for us to actually get that done, This whole idea has really, so what I said to Seth was if I was going to do this, I would sell the book that comes with cow hoof mittens. That you could imagine if you truly are a cow, then there shouldn't be anything that you have to do that you couldn't do with your cow hoof mittens on. If you have to take your mittens off, you're probably doing something that is not what a cow should be doing.
Huh.
Do you get that?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you took acid before you started thinking about all.
No, I mean, I'm saying it was it all happened in that little twilight thing. It all came together. It was melatonin induced for sure, but the principle is absolutely. I've taken this idea and I've just kind of it's. It's changed the way that I look at things now. I'm really looking at making things in my world cow compliant. I look at things I've even got to a point where, for our money making websites, for our blog, for our Facebook group, all of those things where I know how to post something on the blog. Right? I know how to go to the blog. I know how to log in. I know how to go to the dashboard and how to click a new post and how to type in whatever I want to type in and upload a picture and, preview it and save that draft and publish it. And all of those things that I just described to you are probably 20 steps to make a blog post, right? That require opposable thumbs. I'd have to have that whole thing. But the easiest thing that I can do is send one email. So now I've set up separate email addresses at deanjackson.com that go to the different blogs so that all I do is send an email to that email address, and the subject line is the headline of the post. What I put in the body of the email is the actual body of the post, and what I attach or link to is the image that goes up there. So that sending one email eliminates 20 steps. So that one email goes into that bucket that's then managed by a farmer who takes that and does those 20 steps to get that up into the world. It's pretty profound when you really start thinking about how many of the things that you do are cow compliant. If you truly look at yourself as a cow,
Well, okay, so no. First off, it is. It's a great analogy. It's a great model. It's a great way of looking at things. So. For our listeners, so where do you think everyone should? So that if you get the concept, how do you go about doing a cow audit on your?
There you go. That's a great thing. I think that the mitten test is a great test for your day, right? If you imagine that you had some cow hoof mittens and you put them on for the day. And you just observed how much of your stuff that you did today could you have done with your mittens on? I could be doing this with my mittens on. You could be doing this with your mittens on. And this is high value. This is something that is the highest value things that We do. I had 3 consulting calls today that I could do with my mittens on. And you look at it that really all the highest value things that you do are probably cow compliant. They're the things where the actual money is. And it's all of those other things that limit the amount of time that you actually have available to be a productive, happy cow.
Yeah.
So the big challenge, the big thing that I see often is that people they're stuck at a level where they only go as far as you can go as a self-milking cow, and they're stuck in that. And the most successful cows, the richest cows, the ones who get the most stuff out into the world are not milking themselves and processing the milk and taking it to the market and making the cheese and the yogurt and all the stuff that you could potentially do with the milk,
Well, which, since I'm kind of anti-dairy, I would,
yeah,
it would be really nice if you were talking
this
about
this whole metaphor just really doesn't resonate with you.
No, I get it. I mean, but you're doing your cookie analogies. I'm kind of gluten free.
No, but I was just saying, this is like
food items that
I put this right up there. I put this idea right up there with the, with cheese and whiskers. And I think that this framework is really going to be a simple concept for people to understand.
Can any of your marketing analogies exist without sugar and dairy, though?
That's funny, isn't it?
I personally, I think it is. That's probably why I said it.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, it's humorous. Okay. So let me ask you this then.
Sure.
What is the obstacle to unleashing awaken the cow within, to use a Tony Robbins thing,
I love that. Awaken the cow within.
We should you need to tell this to Tony and you need to ask him.
I will. Absolutely.
Tell him he's a cow. He's got all these minions.
Well, there's Tony Robbins Tony Robbins is a cow. You're absolutely right. We're surrounded by them, Joe. We're surrounded by people who are cows to varying degrees of success, and it's very interesting.
We need to have Eric from the Draw Shop do an animated video on this, and it could be called cow tipping.
Cow tipping.
The cow tipping point. The cow tipping point. How you get your cow to just literally be, because it's kind of funny because you don't think of a cow as a stealth, like, powerful. I guess you could, but it's not, we're not talking like it conjures up sort of sluggish and kind of, sort of going along sort of being, when in reality, you're talking about some serious production here. We're like ninja cows.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, ninja cows, exactly. Oh, man.
All right, so going back to my thing, unleashing awaken your giant cow, whatever. How do you recommend it?
So I think that there's the thing is realizing it first, is realizing that there is, you've got information, you've got ideas, you've got things that you want to get out into the world. And the obstacle, any time you run into problems where there are technical things that need to be solved, that a lot of times people get blocked by not knowing how to do the technical thing, which has nothing to do with the value of the milk, of getting the milk out into the world. It's not the highest value thing that you could be doing. and finding somebody or some process that can make that happen quickly. It's really about setting up the whole, the processes. It's about setting up the team the way that you set it up, to think about anything that you look at. I've been really going through every process of, what happens. You think like, what is the output that you could create? So if I've got ideas or something that I want to get out into the world, the thing is that the very easiest thing for me to do is to talk about it like this, to talk about it in a format. That's where you and I have the luxury of, and it's a self-appointed luxury, of a weekly outlet for getting our milk out into the world, right? And all we have to do is come and spend this hour getting that out into the world. Now, this, if you look at in the grand scheme of things, all the things that we do, this 127 hours that we've spent on the phone together doing these podcasts is creating this incredible body of work. We've built this worldwide audience. We've built this movement that's easy to get behind, And did you get that? That's good, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was powerful. And the 127 hour thing also, I thought, if you ever saw that movie, it would just, at this point, you like gnaw your arm off or something.
Oh, gnaw my arm off. Yes, exactly.
A lot of people won't even get what the hell I'm talking about.
You think about that right there is, if somebody had the, mechanism set up to get that out into the world, that all they had to do was come and get milked, come to the milking machine, whether it's there's basic types of output. There's either audio or there's video, or you're going to write something, or you're going to be in a live group with a small group of people, 1 person, 10 people, 30 people, or in front of 1,000 people, but you're doing it either on audio, on video, in writing, or live. That's how you're getting the milk out to the people, right? When you're getting it to the audience. And the more that you can strip away all the things that are not creating the milk, the better off that you're going to be. The more time you'll have to create more milk, the more time you'll have to think, to be out in the pasture, to be out, chewing the grass and experiencing life and living your life as a happy cow and waddling back down to the barn twice a day or twice a week or once a month or however often to get on a regular milking schedule, So I think if you look at it, that those are the things that, writing, all of these things are basically tools of communicating. Right. And so when you're communicating to your audience, the most, especially if you're information, like I've been thinking a lot about this, that the people who have great ideas, getting them out into the world is the people who are the most successful, cows are people who have an outlet to get the most milk out into the world, like you look at Dan Sullivan, with all of those workshops that are going on, like, I love, and I think this is completely, resonant with Dan's 80% approach, his new book that's just out right now, his new concept of doing your 80%, and when you look at the way Dan works, he's shared and he's very open about it, that all he does is he makes it up and then he puts it on an impact filter and he sits down with one of his farmers, and the project manager farmer then makes it real and gets it out into the world and makes it recur. And that all Dan does is think about new ideas, write them down, record them on audio, share them in a group. That's all he does. He's not in there typing up the things or posting things on Facebook or the blog. He's not, doing the audio editing. He's not setting up the tables in the room or confirming people's attendance or, doing, any of that stuff. He's not cooking lunch for everybody that comes to the workshops, but everything he's doing is cow compliant. Dan could live his entire life with the cow hoof mittens on.
Yeah, he absolutely could, and he will.
Exactly. I mean,
he will be wearing them mittens.
But I think that's really so that's my vision, is to create the book, and it comes along with the mittens, and that's the test is, go through your day and start to realize, just observe where you have to take your mittens off and start to think, like, what is getting in the way of me actually doing what I do? Now,
what is tipping the cow? What is taking the cow off of its foundation, off its ground?
Exactly.
I'm like literally losing my mind trying to think of these analogies that you come up with, because I certainly can come up with some pretty interesting stuff, but you just started going.
That's why you're my favorite person to share it with. I'm glad we got to. And what I love more than anything is that I haven't talked to you about this all summer, and this is the very first time you're even hearing those words, the self-milking cow.
No, you talked to me about this before, but not to this in this depth.
Okay, good.
I think you're forgetting. I think the drugs wear on and off or something.
I must have, because I was telling you in New York. That's right. That we were laughing about it that I was sharing with Evan. That's right. But you look around. I mean, we're surrounded by them. I would say, Ned Hollowell is a cow. He's the perfect cow. He's got such great ideas. He's got incredible things. The outlets that he has of the books, being on Dr. Oz or on TV shows, being in a room with patients that pay a lot of money. That's how he's doing it. But then there's a whole opportunity to set up a different type of farming operation that can capitalize on taking that milk to market in different ways than a $20 book,
Right.
Or a $1,000 session with him. Like, that's really the two in between things, who's done a great job of doing, Dr. Daniel Amen, the Amen clinics. He's built a whole, huge farm operation around his milk, the milk being the idea of, and the protocols that he's set up for doing the brain scans and interpreting them and setting up the protocols.
Well, and you can also, he's able to identify the crazy cows.
Right, exactly.
He can look, because look at a guy like Elon Musk, right, who is simultaneously the CEO of SpaceX, Tesla, Solar City. I mean, that's one busy ass cow that has a lot of farmers.
That is exactly right. That you look at it, that Richard Branson is a happy cow.
I think he's a British cow.
He's a British.
Are they really happy? I mean, we have.
Reminds me of those. Do you ever see those commercials for the California cheese, where it's like they show these cows in Wisconsin that are freezing and shuddering, and it's windy and cold, and then they show these cows out in California with the sun and the breeze and the ocean, and they're like great tasting cheese comes from happy cows, and happy cows come from California.
That is funny. I've never seen that, but that...
You haven't, but it's brilliant, isn't it? Because you got to imagine that a cow in California is going to be happier than a cow in Wisconsin.
You know, those Compton cows in California. Those
Compton cows.
There's the rough cows. There's the happy cows. There's the semi-depressed. There's the, there's everything. I'm like, rarely do I stumble over words like this, but I'm looking at a frickin' statue of a unicorn right now, and my this little unicorn wishes. I mean, I'm just getting thrown off today.
Right.
Okay, so here's the deal. We've only got a couple more minutes left. So, what is your final strategy for people to literally take the cow within? And
well, I think we should continue. I think so. The next episode we'll continue this arc. We'll talk about this again. But I think what would be great as a start for people is to just kind of have that awareness, is to think about, do they see themselves as a cow or as a farmer? And, a farmer is somebody who is taking, somebody else's content and packaging it and processing it and sending it out. And God bless the farmers of the world. There's like I said, I'm not setting it up that one is better than the other. They're equally important and valuable and couldn't survive without each other. So, I think that some people would look at it that, there are a lot of people who love to thrive on working and running systems. And you and I are both surrounded by farmers who make what we do possible. And they're happy in their role because they couldn't imagine doing what we do. They couldn't imagine coming and without any notes or any kind of preparation, talking for an hour about marketing or about something, that's not it. But give them a process to follow, or let them set up a process for doing something, and the work's coming in and they know exactly what to do, and they were able to do it efficiently and get joy from that. That's a very, very powerful thing,
It's a hell of a deal.
It really is.
No, it really... Okay, so let's do this. We will carry on the conversation in the next episode, and at least I think in the next episode, we could break it up with an interview. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways.
Right. The next episode, you and I are together. We'll continue it.
Yeah. So what I want to end with is that on the comment section of ilovemarketing.com, you should share this episode with anyone that is a cow to give them just a whole different frame of how to think about themselves, and post whatever you can think of as an analogy, as a comparison, as a title, as something, because we can get really kind of just really weird with all of this.
Here's what I think we should do. We should let's have every listener, let's make this week all about the 9-word email. So they can send a 9-word email to their own clients, their own prospects, asking, are you still looking for this? And then as payment to us for sharing that with them and the bounty that's going to come into their world because of sending that email, they could in turn send a 9-word email to every entrepreneur, business owner, business marketing lover that they know, a 9-word email that says, do you listen to the I Love Marketing podcast? That's it. Just send that out to all of your entrepreneurial friends, everybody you know that owns a business, everybody that you think should be or could be listening to I Love Marketing, and just ask them that question. Do you listen to the I Love Marketing podcast? And when they come back and say yes or no, then you can tell them all about it and say, go to this episode and listen about the self-milking cow. You'll love it.
I can't think of a more important directive to save civilization from self-destruction than that.
I think that would be great. I think, and then come share in the comments the results of both of those experiments.
Yeah. I love it. All right. Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Dean. And we'll see everyone on the next Tap Dancing Cow episode.
Bye. And there we have it. Another great episode. Thanks for listening in. If you want to continue the conversation, we'll go deeper in how the 8 profit activators can apply to your business. 2 things you can do. Right now, you can go to morecheeselesswhiskers.com and you can download a copy of the More Cheese Less Whiskers book. And you can listen to the back episodes, of course, if you're just listening here on iTunes. Secondly, the thing that we talk about in applying all of the 8 profit activators are part of the breakthrough DNA process. And you can download a book and a scorecard and watch a video all about the 8 profit activators at breakthroughdna.com. And that's a great place to start the journey in applying this scientific approach to growing your business. That's really the way we think about Breakthrough DNA as an operating system that you can overlay on your existing business and immediately look for insights there. So that's it for this week. Have a great week, and we will be back next time with another episode of More Cheese, Less Whiskers.